From County College of Morris, this is CCM All Access.
Hello, and welcome to CCM All Access, the program that brings you news and information from the County College of Morris. Students on campus, members of the community, people doing good things. I'm Mitchell Etta, and today we will be talking with two members of CCM's men's soccer team. Our first guest is Mr. Cole Huetz, who is a team captain and is majoring in mathematics here at CCM. Welcome, Cole.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I have for you is, how long have you been playing soccer?
So I've been playing soccer pretty much my whole life. Really since I was 5 years old, I've been playing club and school soccer from that point forward.
And what would you say your biggest competition was throughout all those years leading up to CCM?
There was one team that I played for when I was 13 or 14. That was it was a national level team, and I had a lot of struggles breaking into that team, finding my feet there. So I would say that was probably my biggest challenge.
Is there a specific position that you play?
Yeah, so I've been a center mid my whole life, but recently I've transitioned into more of a center back this past year. That was my primary position. But really anywhere in the center of the middle, more defensively now, I can kind of play wherever is needed.
Have you ever played a position like forward or goalie? Have you ever tried that and it just didn't work out for you? Yeah,
well, in high school, I was actually played on the left wing by my coach, which was totally unnatural for me, and really it took me a while to figure out how to do it. That was kind of the period where I realized I was definitely better as a center mid, and obviously more recently a center back. So,
how long did it take you to be able to control the ball as a defender? I used to play soccer, but whenever I got the ball, I guess you can call me a noob, but I would just kind of boot it up the field. Right. How long did it take you to be able to master the skill of actually controlling the ball and taking it up the field? Just out of curiosity.
Right, so, I think a lot of that came from my days as a center mid, because that was a big part of it, is being able to control the ball, turn with it, and then move it on quickly. So transitioning into being a center back from already having played the center mid position, it made it a lot easier because my ball control was already there.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would go outside and just try to get 10,000 touches on the ball as many days as I could, which really helped with ball control, and being able to just get myself out of tight situations whenever was needed.
So tell me a little bit about the soccer team here at CCM.
Yeah, so, I really like the group of guys that we had this year. Everybody was really dedicated to the team, really wanted to put their best foot forward and, make a difference whenever they got on the field. There was healthy competition at almost every position. Our coach, Coach Kayo, he really helped turn the program around and really helped set us on the right direction. We didn't get the results that we wanted this year, but we played well, and I think next year there's a really solid foundation to have a great team next year.
So is he the head coach, or does he coach, let's say, defensive or offensive? What is he?
So Coach Kayo is the head coach.
He's the head coach?
Yeah, so he kind of runs the whole thing. Coach Brianna is the assistant coach, and she's great to have to help him out wherever is needed.
Yep.
So that's kind of how it's been run.
So what are you most excited for this season?
This past season or the coming one?
This coming season. The
coming season? Well, I won't be here next year, but for everybody else, the group of freshmen that came in this year, there are some extremely talented players and some really hard workers on the team. So I think that with the sophomores that are leaving next year, the group that will be left has a great foundation and can really turn themselves into something fantastic. Do
you think that they play well together as a team, like being a year above and already have been played last year? Do you believe that they would play well together next year? Absolutely.
Last season it was tough because we had a lot of issues with everything that was going on. just difficulty getting consistency in any of our performances or practices or anything. I think that changed a lot this year because we were able to get almost everybody there almost every day. There was a really strong bond between the group, and I don't see any reason that would change next year. And I think having already had this year and going into the next year fully prepared and knowing what's to come is going to make a huge difference.
How is juggling being a student athlete?
It's tough. It's definitely tough. You know, I'm taking some pretty challenging courses this fall, especially. So it's tough to balance all of that, but it's also a good exercise on learning how to manage my time as well as I can. You know, staying organized, staying disciplined when I have to, and making sure that I take care of everything that needs to get done.
Are there Saturday practices?
There were some Saturday practices.
Yeah.
Usually the Saturday practices were run by ourselves. We would kind of get whoever could make it, usually in the mornings. We would find a field and just play together, get some touches on the ball. Anything to stay moving, stay active, get some recovery days in, stuff like that.
Yeah. Recovery days are very important.
Absolutely.
With anything. I mean, with lifting, with sports, you got to have recovery days in order to be able to perform at your peak performance.
Absolutely. If you don't, you know, you'll fatigue very quickly, and you know you won't be able to perform as best as you can.
And I feel like same thing goes for academics as well, because if you don't take breaks when you need to, you're going to burn yourself out.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you can agree to that. I mean, being a student athlete. So.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you on that.
Tell me a little bit about a typical soccer practice.
So we would usually go down to the field, you know, 5 to 10 minutes before practice was supposed to start. Everybody would get their gear on, get ready to go, and then we would, you know, right when it hit 3:30 or 4 o'clock, depending on when we started, we would go straight into our warm-up, which usually consisted of a jog around the field, and then we go into our dynamic stretches, you know, high knees, high kicks, all that sort of stuff. After that, we would break up into groups usually, go through maybe 2 to 3 drills per practice, depending on what we wanted to focus on per practice, which was usually determined based on how we performed the previous game and what we needed to focus on based on that performance. So we would go through that, usually end the practice playing some small-sided games, some possession work, and then cool down, static stretches, and see everybody the next day.
So now a question that I've always personally had was, how is making your CCM schedule work? How do you make that work around your soccer practice schedule? Like, how does that work? I guess I'm assuming that there's a certain time slot that you can't schedule any classes for because that's when you have soccer practice?
Yeah. So we were told at the beginning of the season, you know, a rough time that we would have our practices and games. So we knew that Tuesdays and Thursdays would be the days that we would play our games. So we were told, especially on those days, you want to schedule your classes as early in the morning as possible. You know, for me, for example, I end one of my classes at 1:40 on Thursday, which was too late for some of our games. I didn't have any choice in the matter. It was the only section that was offered. But usually we want to end those classes, especially those days, around noon. Because if we have to play an away game, we usually have to leave the school around noon, depending on how far it is. And then Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, as long as we were done before 3 o'clock or so, we would start practice at 3:30 to 4. You know, any time before that worked to be done with our classes and be ready to get down to the field.
Yep. So what are your plans after CCM? What are you going for your degree here and then you're going to transfer, and are also you going to play on another soccer team, like at a different college? What are your plans?
Right, so I definitely hope to transfer. I'll be graduating with my associate this coming spring, at the end of the spring semester. And then I hope to transfer in the fall to a 4-year school. I would love to play soccer somewhere else. I want to go in as a physics major, so it'll be tough to, especially at a a 4-year university, it'll be tough to manage that. But I would like to try. we'll see what happens.
Yep,
See what
that's the mindset. You never know what's in front of you. I
Yeah,
mean, honestly,
yeah.
the future at our age is so uncertain.
Absolutely.
My plan is to transfer to a 4-year college as well. So
Very cool.
we'll see how that works out.
Very cool. Very cool. Good luck.
So thank you. What is CCM's biggest rival in your opinion?
Sussex. Definitely Sussex. We last year we lost to them by quite a heavy margin, which wasn't a good feeling to take away. Luckily, this year our last game of the season was against Sussex, and we beat them 7-0.
Wow.
So it was, after a rough season, it was definitely good to end on that note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably also had a bunch of kids who were really good last year who moved out. That
Yes.
also could play a big part.
That is definitely the case.
Yeah. So tell me about your past game that you played, like your most recent game.
The most recent one, that would have been Sussex.
That was the Sussex game?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, we won 7-0. It was, it was a good performance. We've definitely played better throughout the season. But, the fact that it was kind of the last game of the season and it didn't really count for anything because we hadn't made regionals, our performance was a little sloppy at times. But obviously we scored 7 goals. We didn't concede any. So it's a positive as a whole,
Well, good luck to your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whether it's soccer, academics, I wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it, man.
Now we are going to take a break. Stay tuned, and when we get back, we will be speaking with the other captain of CCM's men's soccer team, Mr. Angel Dominguez. Stay tuned.
I'm Andrea Lucia, a graduate of County College of Morris. At CCM, I gained a high-quality education, was involved with clubs on campus, and performed university research in tissue engineering. My CCM education prepared me for ongoing success. Today, I am at Cornell University, studying engineering and performing research in cardiac tissue engineering. The professors and staff at CCM helped me to start right and finish strong.
Welcome back to CCM All Access. I'm Mitchell Etta, and joining us is Mr. Angel Dominguez, who is majoring in exercise science here at CCM and is a captain on CCM's men's soccer team. Welcome, Angel.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you
Crazy.
on the show. So how long have you been playing soccer?
I've been playing soccer for roughly since I went to 5th grade. And that really just started because I had a friend who now is like the keeper for Drew. And he told me, he's like, one day he's like, just show up to play. I'm like, I got you. And really, I didn't really want to play when I was like young like Cole. He started when he was 5 years old. I was kind of like a latecomer to the game when it came to that aspect. But I think it like made me better in a sense.
Yeah. Do you think you're able to pick it up pretty quickly? I mean, being already, you said in 5th grade, right?
Yeah, so like 12 or something like that.
Yeah. Do you think you were able to pick it up pretty quickly as compared to someone who was younger?
In a sense, yeah. I think it took me like around a year to get like used to like all the plays and everything like that when we had it. And it was because there's like levels, right? And there's rec, travel, and then like the elite stuff. And I started right at travel. So like it wasn't a game really for the coach and for the players there. It was more like you come to practice, you do what is needed.
Yep.
And it was just like that. So it got me to improve like rapidly, basically.
Okay. Is there a specific position that you play?
Right now, center back, and it was mainly that for my whole life, really. Even though I'm only like 5'9", and center backs are like way taller. But yeah, center back, and I enjoy playing outside back more, just because it's more attacking, so I could like try to assist or score more goals.
Now I know I asked Cole this question, but have you tried other positions and you just didn't like it, and then that's how you stuck with center back? Is that how that worked, or it's always center back?
Not really for that. It was like mainly because the coach that I had for travel, he was also the high school coach. So as soon as I got into high school, it was like, oh, you're going in there. But when I first started, I actually really enjoyed playing striker, but he just never really wanted me up there.
Yep.
So it kind of killed those dreams.
Yep.
But yeah, then just got into it.
Tell me a little bit about the soccer team here, and make it, a little different from
A
what
little
Cole said, like
difficult.
different aspects of it.
That could be a little difficult, but I would say that it's a really, like, it could be a really good program, especially if, like, the players that get recruited and the players that are here now take it like an actual college program and, like, they take it seriously. And I think, like, CCM could realistically be one of the best soccer teams around and be in, like, nationally ranked leveled games and everything like that.
That's great. That's great. So how is juggling being a student athlete for yourself? How is it?
For me, I would say it's really difficult for me because right now I'm in exercise science, right? So I'm taking anatomy and physiology too, which is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult classes here. So doing that, having to study for like 2 hours every day, 1 to 2 hours every day, and then right after, like, go into soccer and then do it again, it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it, like, kills you mentally and, like, physically. You're already, like, in that, like, bad state. So, like, you have to, like, recover really quick.
Yeah. And on top of that, did you work a job during the soccer season as well, or?
No, for the soccer season, no. I try to just keep it like education and soccer.
Yeah.
And, like, it could be hard at times still, because, like, I'm one of those guys where it's like education really should come first, but for me it really is soccer, like, all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the main reasons that, like, I'm still here, because it's like my third year here, because one was a COVID year, then I had the first one, and then now it's the second technically. But yeah, soccer is, like, the thing that, like, drives me forward and keeps me going for CCM.
How was soccer during the COVID year? How was managing that? Was it a lot more difficult in order, like, for practice and for games? Like, how was the difference between then and now?
It was a bit more difficult, I would say, just having to be, like, you get restricted on, like, what you have to wear. So, like, going to away games for, like, 2 hours, having to ride 2 hours with a mask on in, like, such a tight space.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. We all went through that.
We got fortunate with us, like, with games we didn't have to wear masks, but, like, I know some people, like, or some other teams, they had to wear masks while playing.
While playing?
Yeah, while playing. Yeah. So we got fortunate enough, like, that our league just didn't have to do that.
Okay, that's nice. That's very nice. So tell me a little bit about a typical soccer practice.
A typical practice. I would say that, like how Cole said, we would show up like 5 to 10 minutes before the practice, get our cleats on, get everything all set, and we would juggle around and just kick the ball for like another 5 minutes until, like, the coach said, go run around the lap twice, and that would be like our warm up. So doing that, and then we would go into drills, which were kind of position specific based. So, like, center backs would be with each other, while attackers go with each other, and then, like, at the end we would kind of merge the two things and go into, like, a more, like, intricate practice, like, where we actually have, like, a little setup, like, type of game going at.
What would you say the team's strong point is in terms of, would you say that the defenders are slightly more skillful than the offenders? What would you say?
For
CCM specifically, I'm just curious. I mean, being a really good team is having a really good offense and defense, but I'm just wondering if there were any times where the defense was slightly better than the offense.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me it's going to be a little biased just because I'm a center back, but I would say that even though we didn't, like, get the results and we lost quite a bit of our games, that our defense was really strong, and we actually, like, played with each other before, so we knew a bit of, like, how we would, like, defend, like, cover another person.
Yep.
And at times, like, when we try to go on the offense, it was a bit harder of a transition. So I think that's what, like, kind of killed us on, like, the offense and, like, trying to score goals, like, consistently.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about a past game, not your most recent game against Sussex. Tell me a little bit about, let's say, your most difficult game that you guys have played, the closest game.
Oh, most difficult. I would probably say that was a scrimmage that we had against Rutgers Newark. And they're a really good team because they're D3 and everything, so they get scouts from like everywhere. But they had a really good team, like great defense, great offense, and they kind of blew us off.
Really?
Yeah, I think the score was like 4-1 to them. And that was the game. I scored a goal there, so that was like the only goal I scored. But yeah, that was a game that was probably most difficult in my eyes.
So what are some other teams? I'm just curious about the league that you guys are in. What are list some other teams that you guys play against?
Some teams that I know were Camden, which they're really good. Essex, Middlesex, and those three teams I believe were nationally ranked for like county colleges, so they were really good. But in reality, I think we could have beaten them. We just got unlucky with it.
Yep.
And it was just like unfortunate.
So I was talking with Cole about recovery. How do you personally recover after a really hard soccer practice?
Ooh, I would go into our trainer's office, right, and either get stim, which is like you put like little electropads or something like that on your muscles to like get them to recover faster, or I would go and do like one thing that I hate the most, which is like ice baths, but they're really beneficial. So doing that would help like speed up the process of recovery. And that was like really great because then like the day after, go back at it, do it again, same thing.
How much free time, just out of curiosity, being a student athlete, how much free time would you say you'd have a week?
Trying, like it depends on the week really, because some weeks I think I had more work than others. So trying to like study for a test that would come that week, I would be trying to study like 2-3 hours a day for that one class, so I didn't really have much free time, or I would stay up until like 1 or 2 a.m. to be able to have that free time, like play like the stuff that I want and do stuff that I want.
Of course.
But then like lighter weeks, it'd be like 1 or 2 hours, so it'd be that, soccer, and then do homework after for a bit, and then it'd be like the whole night basically would be free. So it wasn't like too horrible sometimes, but then other days,
sometimes yeah. Like probably around midterms or finals.
Around
it can be brutal.
Like last week was crazy, because of everything.
So how many classes do you take during the soccer season? I'm just curious because I don't know how much time the soccer practice takes up. Do you take 3, 4, 5 classes during the semester?
It depends on how many credits, because I know we have to be able to be a student athlete, you have to be a full-time student technically.
Okay. So is that 4 or 5 classes?
Well, you need 12 credits.
12 credits.
12 credits. So it depends. For me, it was 5 classes because I had two 1-credit classes. But I know for other people, it could just be 4 classes just because they get all 3 credits. So it'd be easier for them.
So tell me about your hardest practice here on CCM. A practice that you remember because it was so difficult and it left you just completely dead after. Do you have one in mind that you remember?
Would it be from this like season, or like can I count like a season before?
Yeah, even the season
like
before.
The season before? Yeah, the season before we had it was a fitness practice, purely running basically.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
pure cardio.
Yeah, pure. So it would be we did like a little bit of like sprints right to start off, and then right after we got like a 5-minute break, so it wasn't too long. But then we would have to do lunges from the whole field, from like one side all the way to the other, so 100 yards, doing that fully for 100 yards there, and then back, doing them backwards, and your legs would just start dying out.
Oh.
It was, yeah.
Can you even afford to go to the gym and hit like a leg day with soccer?
When
you
you're
probably
in season,
can't,
no.
right?
When you're in season, no. Yeah, so in season, I would go to the gym usually, but it would only be arms or chest or back. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Because your legs would not be able to, I don't think they'd be able to take it.
Oh, no way. What are your plans after CCM? Are you going to transfer, and are you going to also continue playing soccer?
Yeah, so I hope to transfer, but I do hope to take like probably 1 gap year right now after CCM, just to be able to get money and everything like that that's needed. And then I hope to transfer to either Montclair or Ramapo, somewhere good where they have like a good exercise science program or like education program as well. And then hopefully I get to play in either one of those. Just have to contact the coaches.
Are they D3 schools?
Yeah, both of them, yeah. Both of them are D3. And like the Ramapo would probably be easier just because Montclair is a really good team. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, really good team.
All right, well, thank you, and good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you very much. This has been another edition of CCM All Access. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.